to all of you who clicked on here, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I hope you learned something from it. And if you do, if you enjoy it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and share it. Now, this idea for this video, well, it came to me because I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel. And then I was like, what's the first video going to be about? And so I just hit 21 and I was like, you know what? Why not come up with 21 things to share because I have learned them. And I hope someone out there can learn because I didn't really have much of a mentor growing up. And so, if I can help someone learn anything in any way, hey, why not do it? So, 21 things I have learned by 21. I'm going to go from 1 to 21. Number 1 being the most important thing. And I'm going to be looking back and forth because I'm going to be on my notes. And yeah. So, number 1. Most important thing I found to be important to me is having a connection to God. I've turned to women, drugs, alcohol, and there's this void deep within me. Don't know what it is, but nothing filled me up. Nothing made me feel better and to be more present, like turning to God and, any way I can, whether it was praying, whether it was reading the Bible or reading a verse or trying to break down a parable. I even have the Bible app on my phone and it gives me a verse of the day and I try to break it down and then I try to pray. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect Christian or a strict devout Christian. I make mistakes, I'm human just as you are. But when you turn to God, you move a certain way and you feel a certain way, and so I find that to be important, and hopefully you can too. Number 2, you can have the greatest plan, but sometimes it just won't work out. Earlier this year, I came up with this big plan from the smallest to biggest detail, and it just wasn't going to work out. It shattered me, it broke my heart, but guess what? I learned to pivot, and then I learned to start from scratch, make new notes, and then I look back at what I had written down just to see if I can use that into what I'm doing now. Sometimes you're going to have to start from scratch, and you're going to learn to pivot and move forward. Number 3, it is okay to redefine your standards. This was learned because one day I didn't want to take break the same way all the other people were taking breaks, and I just wanted to keep working. I just said, you know what, fuck it, fuck break. I'm gonna keep working, and I demanded a higher version of myself to come out, and that either got us caught up or it got us up ahead of schedule. And yeah, I was looked at weirdly, and yeah, I was looked at, I guess, in a weird way. But you know what? That's part of it. Sometimes you're gonna have to stand out to do what you gotta do. And I'm not saying don't take your breaks. I still take my breaks every now and then. But what I am saying is that sometimes you need to redefine your standards and demand more from yourself. Number 4, be careful with who you hang out with. I learned this because, like I said, through my past, I've done a lot of things. I've hung out with people who would go party every weekend, and guess what? I partied every weekend, and guess what? That affected my future plans. That affected my way of thinking. And so if you find, if you're hanging out with the wrong crowd, guess what? You're going to make the wrong choices. But I also found that if you hang out with the right people, you make the right choices, or you make better choices, and you learn from one each other, and you grow as a human being. Now, number 5, eat your fruits and vegetables. Eat your fruit and vegetables. I used to be that kid who never liked tomatoes just because they looked weird and then they tasted weird to me. But as I got older, I put them in my diet, and guess what? I feel better. I feel healthier. And sometimes you will be missing out on some nutrients, or you will be lacking. And if you eat your vegetables, guess what? It might help you. Number 6, stretch. I found it important to stretch because I would be hurting in certain areas, and people would tell me you have knots or you're tight. And so I found that it was very beneficial to me when I would stretch, because I will feel relief in a certain part of my body. So I say stretch because it'll help you in the short term and the long term. Number 7, water and caffeine make one hell of a combination. I learned this because my senior year, I used to be a caffeine addict, and I would drink a black cup of coffee every morning. And in doing so, I would feel tired throughout the day or at the end of the day. And when I would drink water is when I felt good, and I noted that. So then one day I decided to buy a gallon of water to combine it with my cup of coffee, and I was working like a machine. I was like, I was there. I was pumped up. And so I learned from my professor also. He told me, that's one hell of a combination, because you will be running around, and it works. So if it works for me, hopefully it can work for you. Number 8, live below your means. I'm 21. I'm young. I like splurging on nice things. I like getting that most expensive item because it's expensive, or just because it looks nice. And I had to learn that sometimes you gotta save your money, go to Walmart, buy you a 6-pack, and be fine with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so that's what I got used to, spending less and less money on things I don't even need, and things that I will get dirty or throw on the floor or throw somewhere. And sometimes I do splurge on myself, but what I'm trying to get at is it's okay to live below your means and to go with the cheaper option. Number 9, calories in versus calories out. This is something I learned because when I was younger, I tried to find the fastest way to lose weight, and it was very unhealthy. And at the end of the day, I would gain that weight back. So, yes, learn to understand calories. Learn to keep track of your carbs, protein, and your fats, and just eat healthy. So understand calories in and understand calories out. Number 10, understand your body. I mentioned calories, but also your body. Sometimes you're lacking in a vitamin or a mineral or something, and you have to go out and try it out and see how you feel. I used to not like fish oil, and then once I started using it, I felt a certain way. I felt better. Magnesium, I never had that, but guess what? I started using it and I felt better. So understand your body, and don't be afraid to use certain supplements, and experiment with biohacking. Now, number 11, forgive, don't forget. I've been a shitty person, and I have shitty things done to me, and I have learned that when I would be angry with someone, it only harmed me. And so what I had to do was forgive them, but I also had to understand that they are capable of doing it, which is not forgetting. So forgive, don't forget, and forgive yourself. Sometimes you're going to be a stupid idiot and make dumb decisions, but guess what? You're going to have to forgive yourself, move forward, and understand that you don't want to do it again. Understand that you're capable of doing it, but you should stay away from doing so. Number 12, it's okay to be alone. Now, I've spent some time alone, and I've had people tell me, you need friends, you need to go out more. But sometimes I like being alone because I've reflected a lot and on my decisions in the past, and I spend time being by myself to grow as a human being. So take the time to grow, and make sure you are using it to grow and not using it to harm yourself. Number 13, sometimes you have to make your own path. sometimes you gotta say fuck it. I don't want to be like everyone else, and you're just gonna have to go on and do your own thing and go do you, man. 14. It's okay to tear up. I used to try to hold in my emotions because life would do what life does, and one day I just let it out. Sometimes you just gotta let it out and know that is okay. 15. Don't complain. If you complain, what I have seen is that people look bad in front of their coworkers and or supervisor or bosses. I used to complain as a younger kid over the dumb stuff, and thankfully I had brothers there to correct me. And so then as I got older, it wasn't something I did, and it was something I would look at people do and see that it would harm them and their image. So don't complain. 16. Get dirty. One thing I learned was you know what, you're gonna have to get dirty. You're gonna have to go do something you don't like, because that is part of the job and that is part of the process for you in your life. So 16, don't be afraid to get dirty. 17. Pain is necessary. Now, you're gonna have to stub your toe against the wall. You're gonna have to get bit by a dog. You're gonna have to get your heart broken. You're gonna have to get beat up to understand that I don't want this, and I don't like this feeling that I get. And so I have to learn to not put myself in this position, which is pain. So pain is for your growth, and although it sucks, you just gotta push through. Now, number 18. I got moved to a different department, and I came up with this because everyone says it there, and it's two words. Fuck it. Sometimes you're not gonna have what you need. Sometimes you gotta do your job, and you just gotta move on forward, move on to the next thing. You gotta say fuck it. Number 19. Sometimes you can't say fuck it, and you have to find a way to do something because you really want it, because you want something done a certain way. And short story, this is like maybe the 10th time recording this, and I didn't like the other ways. I didn't like the other recordings, so you know what? I'm finding a way to have myself like it. 19, find a way. 20, stay calm. You're gonna be put in a lot of situations, whether it makes you cry, whether it makes you laugh, whether it makes you full of excitement or really angry. Stay calm, because it can go boop, 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 boop. And this was part up because one of my favorite parables was the Chinese farmer and his son. And if you haven't looked into it, please look into it. You will understand what I am talking about. And we'll move on to our next one, which is our last one, number 21. Communicate, or learn to communicate. Sometimes you're afraid to speak up, or sometimes you want to express yourself, or sometimes you don't like something, or you don't like to be treated a certain way. Sometimes you're experiencing something a certain way, and no one knows. No one reads your mind. So you're gonna have to speak up. You're gonna have to communicate, and if anything, be a great communicator, because you will build good rapport with other people. And it can either be good or bad, but as long as you're getting better at communicating, there are so many pros that you can get out of it. And so that is all I have for you guys. All I want to say is thank you for tuning in again. And if you want, you can check out my live channel right here. I will be going live and then posting videos. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.